Welcome back to the episode from the Critics Collective. I'm Ron, and we're going to talk about this Michael Jackson movie that you can catch right now on Amazon Prime. With the movie having success, you can check our top 5 conversation as far as that goes. The new Michael movie. You can also check Manny, who got a chance to see that before it was released, and he lets you know his highs and lows and rates that thing. But just let you know, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna chime in on it. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. If some of you guys have known, there's other videos that I have on here that have to do with Michael Jackson, and so this right here is called Michael Jackson Ungloved, again on Amazon Prime, free 99 if you have it, not technically if you pay for Prime, but you get what I'm saying. Hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and there's more stuff that we always do, whether it's wrestling, television, film, and everything in between. So we love to have you join our collective family. So with that being said, I'm going to tell you my highs, I'm going to tell you my lows, and we're going to go ahead and rate this thing. So basically what this does is it goes in, it talks to Michael Jackson's life after he's passed away, and it gives you a conversation on just, it tries to grab as much as it can, and it's roughly about an hour. It's an hour. It came out 2024 for this one. Now the lows, I will say, I mean, there's no real setup to what this is about, but the description it puts here is: from a modest childhood beginning to international fame, this is the journey of the king of pop, Michael Jackson's complicated world. Unquestioned talent transcended years of scrutiny over the real superstar wearing the symbolic glove, which they do kind of hone to that a little bit, but not as much. It's almost like it's really just a pun, I think. So let's go into the lows. The lows for this, for me, was I wanted them to lean into the obvious more, and it has to do with the case for the alleged child abuse, or not really child abuse, sexual child allegations, however you want to say it respectfully, excuse me. Wanted them to lean into that more, kind of saying, hey, this is what happened, or this is what you believed happened, this is what the news articles would say, this is what the media would say, but here's the receipts. And I don't think we really have had anything that's kind of like that. I did want it to be more of a conversational piece, where it went to, I guess, leaning more into the final months. But that's not really what that is. That's me kind of as a person who's like, well, I've heard of this, I've researched this, or I kind of know more than what they're showing. I don't think there was really many moments, especially if you're a big Michael Jackson fan, where you're like, oh, I didn't know that, and I didn't hear about that. I think this goes for people who are just like, you might be a fan of the music, but you didn't hear about the headlines, or you heard about the headlines, but you didn't know the gist of it because maybe you were young, or it's just not something you looked at. So it was that would really be the only thing for this, not being led into more information. The things I did like about it, the highs I would say briefly, was the way it was shot. I thought it was shot smooth. I thought the pacing was good. What I mean by that is a lot of similar to like superhero movies. And Michael Jackson, I'm not saying he's a superhero, respectfully, put in the comments your feelings on him. That's between you and other stuff. But certain people are larger than life, and when you tell the story, you go through the origin story over and over again. We hear it, the Jackson 5 and the success they've had, and the records, and what it means to music, and the songs and the hits. But we know that already, and they did a really good job of saying, okay, you already know who Michael Jackson is. We'll give you a little bit, but you already know. We're not here for that. And they go directly into the bigger news, the scandals, and all the other stuff, and the interviews. And I thought that was well done. I thought it was cool to see people who I haven't seen in the news or in the narrative, with cameos and things of that nature. I thought that was cool. I thought probably the biggest thing I really enjoyed about this is they do not lead you anywhere. I'm one of those people that, whether you're a fan of not just Michael Jackson, like any artist, any pop star, any celebrity, they're human, and humans are flawed. They don't set you up where you should believe this. They separate the art from the artist, which I'm really big on. And they say, hey, this is what we're talking about. You take it from here. You believe what you want to believe. And I think that's important to do if you're doing a documentary, versus saying, well, this is the story I'm painting, this is what I'm telling. The only other thing I can think about this that I really liked about it was I felt like there was a sense of really being ungloved. They did talk about some sensitive things that I was like, I can't believe they're showing that. I can't believe they're zooming in on some footage that we've seen tons of times, but they're like, okay, you see how this is this way because of this, and painting a story better. There's a sad and chilling call towards the end. I won't spoil anything, but it goes into the final months. And like I said, you want more because we don't know. We either fear or we want more of the unknown. Like especially if you're a true crime fan. And there's a soundbite they play from a recording, and it's just so dark. And it's like, wow, you just it's just something. But it's not the Michael Jackson movie that's out in theaters. I know it's not going to compare to that. I have not seen that movie in theaters yet. I'm hoping that when I do watch that movie, that it's going to lean more closer to this documentary than some of the stuff I've seen in the past. So let's go ahead and rate it. Here we like to rate things from simply a 0 to a 5, with 5 being the best thing we've ever seen. And you put in the comments what you think. What do you think this documentary is? Okay, so again, 1 hour, Amazon Prime, Michael Jackson Ungloved. They must know somebody, because to use what they've used, unless it's just you're allowed to use it as a content creator, I don't know how that works, but it's just a lot of stuff where I'm like, man, this is legit. They're showing some legit scenes and pictures and images and stuff like that. So I don't know who paid what. But I'm going to go ahead and rate it let me bring that back up again, because I wasn't paying attention. I want to say average, but I'm just curious what average would be. But I want to say average is what I want to say with this. Yeah, we'll go with 3. We're going to say an average. Hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. Yeah, I'm going to say average. Like I said, if you're someone like me who, you can't see in the background, but I got album covers against the wall, off the wall, no pun intended. If you're a fan, super fan, all the other stuff, you'll watch it because you I don't want to say, I guess the word captivated, right? I don't think we'll get anybody bigger than Michael Jackson in our lifetime. That's just me, put in the comments who you think is bigger. But I think there's something about that. If you're a person who's never really followed Michael Jackson, the movie was your first thing, you're young, the movie sparked you listening to music. Certain artists like Taylor Swift or Drake or Bruno Mars or Usher, some of the other artists have gotten you to listen to Michael Jackson for the first time, or really dive in on something, a movie trailer or something like that. You're like, oh, okay, cool. You'll go back, and this will probably be eye-opening to you. This will be really, really entertaining, because it's probably pouring in some stuff that you didn't know about. But for a person who's seen it or heard it or whatever the case, it really doesn't get you much. There was a moment, I'll tell you, where they talk about his legal situation and why he settled out of court, and they tell you the strategy of it. I was like, oh, okay, I can see why, because I would never want to settle if I didn't do something. Again, allegedly prove. I'm not here for all that stuff. But I did think it was interesting, and I thought it was cool that they broke down legally why he was doing what he was doing. But yeah, you could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here, and I greatly appreciate that. Until next time.